Konbanwa minasan. You are tuned in to another episode of live Clow card readings. And tonight, as usual, we will do our reading, tell some fortunes. If you would like your fortune told, please comment gender, zodiac sign. And if you'd like a general future reading, romance, or career. We will also read Neville Goddard, and we will talk about the new song, fully made in Japanese, that I released a little preview of today as a response to Hitomi Shimatani, Mystic World. Anyways, we will get right into it. Let's shuffle the cards. All right, great Clow cards of Kurorido reveal to me the answers I seek for the general future in regards to everything going on lately, and show me a sign of your favor that will reveal to me what I need to know and what is to come, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Release. All right, first five. Shuffle that on. Next five. All right. So what we have tonight so far, the first five are the sand, the windy, the loop, the erase, and the voice. The second five are the illusion, the dash, the libra, the storm, and the watery. So what this is indicating too with the first part is that there's a lot of sort of difficulties, barriers, obstacles that I perceive, challenges that I've gone through. I've tried to run towards certain things, like my goals in some regards, but it doesn't feel like I've gotten very far. The windy is indicating that it's almost like the more I push forward, the more it's like I get pushed back by the wind itself. Like I'm running in an endless loop, hence the loop card. The erase says basically it's because I haven't fully erased the conceptions of how I thought the situation before. And the voice, for the voice to show up, it's indicating that that is actually my best strength in this case. The illusion, the dash, the libra, the storm, and the watery, they indicate that what I perceive to be difficult is actually just an illusion, that I'm trying to rush towards it, but that's not necessarily the answer, and it's better to find balance. Go at the way the universe intends for the speed to be, hence the Libra. The storm is indicating that although it seems rough, the watery suggests too that like once this sort of barrier and what I'm going through actually passes, the waters will become calm. Like basically it will wash over everything anew. It will be clean, like a clean, fresh start, basically. So that's pretty good as far as the general reading. That actually was very accurate because I could relate to that so well. I was like, oh, that actually ties into my current situation very well. Next, we will do romance. Oh, great Kuro cards of Kuro Rido reveal to me, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars, what message you have to guide me as far as romance. And I would really love to know because especially after the experience today where I was having really bad anxiety attacks again. The only thing that I found could make the anxiety dissipate and actually go away was I just kind of laid on my bed for a while and I threw on Hitomi Shimatani's music videos and I started to feel better. And I just kind of concentrated on that for a while. I find that it works like a tranquilizer. It's the only thing that really helps me anymore because when I used to get anxiety attacks before, I would treat it with marijuana. Now I've quit marijuana for over 6 months now. So that's not an option of going back to. And it was stressful. It was hard to go through it. I've had sort of attacks of that since yesterday. But what I find works as sort of like a best tranquilizer effect to help with that is actually focusing on Hitomi. So, anyways, we will get into the romance reading. So, reveal to me now, oh great Kuro cards, oh Kuro read, using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Reveal to me what I need to know regarding my romantic situation. Release. It's very interesting so far, huh? Huh? Okay. So the 5 cards I got for romance are the song, which is ironic because I made them a song today. The maze says that I'm kind of going through like confusion of where to go, which I could relate to. I don't really know how to approach them fully or what to say to them or how to get closer to them. So it is like being trapped in a maze. I could relate to that. Shadow says that although things are still and they seem like it's darkness, that it's just all part of the plan, that it's just we are living in a world of shadows. So it's indicating that this is all just part of the story, whether I fully understand it yet or not. The move indicates that there is movement going on, especially though I can't see it. It's like it's unseen in the shadows. And the earthy says basically to focus on like what the desire of the romance is and hold on to that feeling. Find the inner strength from that, which I could relate to, especially today. So that ties in well enough that I kind of understand. Kind of wish I would have gotten a little more of a clear picture, but maybe that's all I'm meant to know right now. I try not to question the cards. Usually they tell you what you need to know on that particular day. That's why you could actually have your fortune told multiple times for anybody who checks this out and like, oh, I've already had my fortune told. Well, the fortune changes every day. It actually changes according to the vibration and the energy you're putting out. So if you've had your fortune told before, you could very well have your fortune told again, just because you might be in a different state of alignment or energy than you were when you had your fortune told before. Might give you a different answer, different sort of guidance or clues of what to look for. Anyways, oh great Kuro Kado, oh Clorido, please reveal to me what I am meant to know regarding the future of my career using the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars. Release. Return, the jump, the snow, the glow, and the sword. This is very interesting because what this is indicating is something about going back regarding the career. Like maybe it's suggesting go back to like when I wasn't really trying to focus on being successful with the career, when I was just trying to create the best music I possibly could. That's what I'm picking up on the return card showing up. Like go back to like when I was making Impulse and Nail Gun and the first couple albums, even all the albums when I was just focused on making the best album to capture that story at the time. That's the energy I need to put out. The jump is saying that I am going to have to take a leap of faith. I'm going to have to try and jump out of my comfort zone, like get out of the box and try new things. However, it's saying go back to the energy from before while I'm doing that. And then we have the glow, which indicates that there is light, though it may be dim at the moment. There is a light at the end of the tunnel regarding on the direction I'm going. And the snow indicates a season of change, stillness. The fact that it's snow, too, it indicates that I might perceive certain paths that lie ahead of me with my career as also being kind of cold, not sure really how to approach certain things with it. But the sword says that I must keep fighting and keep persisting no matter what. That's where my real strength lies, is to keep fighting despite the difficulties. So I do understand the message from that clear enough. And it actually does kind of give me a profound idea of where to approach other songs for this new record I'm starting to work on. So that actually is very helpful. Now, if anybody else would like their fortune told, feel free to comment while we do this. But in the meantime, we will read a little bit of The Power of Awareness today by Neville Goddard. And then afterwards, we will discuss all the latest personal and musical developments that have been going on with me. So, yeah. What I'm thinking actually is, because I have read some of The Power of Awareness before, I'm actually thinking maybe we should go back a little farther in this book and read some from the earlier sort of passages. It's always good to review it anyway, though, to be fair. To fully understand this, it's best if you review it, read it multiple times, and really you'll probably pick up something that you didn't read the first time you looked through it. It's the same thing with reading Feeling is the Secret. As I mentioned at the end of yesterday's episode, I'd actually read that now 7 times. And it's like, even on the 7th time, it felt like I was learning something that I hadn't learned before. So let's see. I'm trying to just find what I think is the best sort of message to give to everybody today. Well, oddly enough, I feel compelled to read part of The Pruning Shears of Revision. I don't know why, but for some reason, I kind of feel drawn to reading that one today. So, that's what we're going to read. I apologize for all the talking in the background. I always make this noise when my broadcast is going on. I'm not really particularly fond of that, we'll say, but I can't do nothing about it. If I could, I would, people, believe me. Can't do nothing. And if I tried to fight about it, I would just create more difficulties for myself. So I just try to tune it out. But I apologize if it is distracting for anybody trying to actually listen to what I'm saying. Really wish they would be a little more respectful of the fact I'm doing that. But oh well. Not worth fighting over. Trust me, you don't want conflict. Anyways, let's see. I think this chapter isn't too long, so I'm pretty sure we should be able to get through it and still have enough time for a discussion after. So, Chapter 4, The Pruning Shears of Revision from Awakened Imagination and the Search. Never will he say caterpillars. He'll say, there's a lot of butterflies as is to be on our cabbages. Proof. He won't say it's winter. He'll say, summer's sleeping. And there's no bud little enough, nor sad colored enough for Kester not to call in it the beginning of the blow. Mary Webb from Precious Vein. The very first act of correction or cure is always revise. One must start with oneself. It is one's attitude that must be changed. What we are, that only we can see. It is most healthy and productive exercise to daily relive the day as you wish you had lived it, revising the scenes to make them conform to your ideals. For instance, suppose today's mail brought disappointing news. Revise the letter, mentally rewrite it, and make it conform to the news you wish you had received. Then, in imagination, read the revised letter over and over again. This is the essence of revision, and revision results in repeal. That one requisite is to arouse your attention in a way and to such intensity that you become wholly absorbed in the revised action. You will experience an expansion and refinement of the senses by this imaginative exercise and eventually achieve vision. But always remember that the ultimate purpose of this exercise is to create in you the Spirit of Jesus, which is continual forgiveness of sin. Revision is one of the greatest importance when the motive is to change oneself, when there is sincere desire to be something different, when the longing is to awaken the ideal active spirit of forgiveness. Without imagination, man remains a being of sin. Man either goes forward to imagination or remains imprisoned in his senses. To go forward to the imagination is to forgive. Forgiveness is the life of the imagination. The art of living is the art of forgiving. Forgiveness is, in fact, experiencing in imagination the revised version of the day, experiencing in imagination what you wish you had experienced in the flesh. Every time one really forgives, that is, every time one relives the event as it should have been lived, one is born again. Father, forgive them is not the plea that comes once a year, but the opportunity that comes every day. The idea of forgiving is a daily possibility, and if it is sincerely done, it will lift man to higher and higher levels of being. He will experience a daily Easter, and Easter is the idea of rising transformed, and that should be almost a continuous process. Freedom and forgiveness are also indissolubly linked. Indissolubly. Indissolubly linked. Not to forgive is to be at war with ourselves, for we are freed according to our capacity to forgive. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. Forgive not merely from a sense of duty or service. Forgive because you want to. Thy ways are ways of pleasantness, and all thy paths are peace. You must take pleasure in revision. You can forgive others effectively only when you have a sincere desire to identify them with their ideal. Duty has no momentum. Forgiveness is a matter of deliberately withdrawing attention from the unrevised day and giving it full strength and joyously to be the revised day. If a man begins to revise even a little of the vexations and troubles of the day, then he begins to work practically on himself. Every revision is a victory over himself and therefore a victory over his enemy. What I thought is we'll actually cut this chapter in two parts just to make it a little easier. So we'll read one more page and then we'll read the other half tomorrow's episode. A man's foes are those of his own household, and his household is his state of mind. He changes his future as he revises his day. When a man practices the art of forgiveness, of revision, however factual the scene on which sight then rests, he revises it with his imagination and gazes on one never before witnessed. The magnitude of the change which any act of revision involves must such change appear wholly improbable to the realist, the unimaginative man, but the radical changes in the fortunes of the prodigal were all produced by a change of heart. The battle man fights is fought out of his own imagination. The man who does not revise the day has lost the vision of that life, into the likeness of which it is the true labor of the Spirit of Jesus to transform this life. All things whatsoever ye would do, that men should be doing to you, even so do ye to them, for this is the law. Here is the way an artist friend forgave herself and was set free from pain, annoyance, and unfriendliness, knowing that nothing but forgetfulness and forgiveness will bring us to new values. She cast herself upon her imagination and escaped from the prison of her senses. She writes, Thursday, I taught all day in the art school. Only one small thing marred the day. Coming into my afternoon classroom, I discovered the janitor had left all the chairs on top of the desk after cleaning the floor. As I lifted a chair down, it slipped from my grasp and struck me a sharp blow on the instep of my right foot. I immediately examined my thoughts and found that I had criticized the man for not doing his job properly. Since he had lost his helper, I realized he probably felt he had done more than enough, and it was an unwanted gift that had bounced and hit me on the foot. Looking down at my foot, I saw both my skin and nylons were intact, so forgot the whole thing. I'll read the rest tomorrow. Let me just get something to page mark this. All right, so if anybody else would like their fortune told when we conclude our discussion, feel free to comment. I know we had a viewer earlier on. If you would like your fortune told, feel free to comment. Ocha desu, oishii. So yeah, the discussion today would be many things. I participated in the Fanicon Hitomi Shimatani lottery contest where you basically like scratch tickets for prizes and whatnot. And even though I didn't win any of the really big prizes I would have loved to win, sadly, I did end up with some really nice exclusive pictures, selfies of hers that she took, which is really cool. I have those. And also, I discovered through this that she's a really good painter, and I actually got like all of like the painting pictures that she had made for the contest too, which was really cool. So I'll treasure those and be grateful that I even got something. I would have loved to win like the VIP tickets or the autograph, the poster, or even the invitation to the live drinking Zoom party. That would have been very cool, but unfortunately, I wasn't so lucky. Some people probably would have thought it was crazy to even spend money on trying that, but, well, I love them, and I figure if I'm going to spend the money on anything, I might as well spend it on somebody I love, right? So, to each his own. That's what I felt like doing. I don't care if anybody judges or criticizes, and they could call me crazy. It's all good. And you know what I would say to that? I'd say, all right, well, you got me. I'm crazy in love. That's for sure. So anyways, as you could tell though from that, I've been trying to make progress of how to approach them, how to like share my feelings with them, and really what I could do to get closer than I already have. But being honest, it feels like the more I struggle, the further back I get pushed. So I've just kind of reached a point where I'm like, universe, I've done the work. I've met you halfway. Now I got to just trust that you have the means to accomplish the task which I have not the power nor the wisdom to do. Because I could honestly say I've done everything possible that I could think of to convey my feelings and get my message across. I mean, that's what I was discussing with the song I made, Boku mo aishiteru yo, which there is actually it's not fully mastered, but it's like a rough mix that I put with like a video of me just kind of singing along to it live. I muted like the original version of it just so it's not all clashing together, and just kind of used it as like a video to show the song. And that in itself is a response to Hitomi Shimatani's song Mystic World. And sort of like based on what she said in her song, it's kind of like me responding to it. And it's very cool. It's a very proud accomplishment to have made that song because it's the first song that I ever made completely in Japanese, like all Japanese lyrics. It took me a bit to find the words I wanted to say and to translate them so that it still made sense. But it's catchy, it's upbeat, it's got this like Japanese pop punk rock vibe. And then it's also got like that jazz vibe because I played a saxophone solo near the end of it. But yeah, it's a really cool song. I hope anybody who checks it out likes it. And more importantly, I tried to pass like the link along, hoping that she would at least see it because then she could see, like, I really love Mystic World. Here's my response, like thanking you for Mystic World. And basically what I would say in response to Mystic World because I loved it so much. So, and that's why, like I mentioned earlier, too, like when I was really anxious and kind of overwhelmed, I even went for a walk today because I was just really, I guess, lost within myself, right? So I went for a walk to clear my head. Just had a lot on my mind. But I could honestly say that I felt the best today when I was just laying on my bed and I was just watching Hitomi Shimatani's music videos and just listening to the songs and seeing how beautiful she looks singing them. And it made me feel better. It might sound corny, it might seem lame, but it's like all the law of attraction coaches and teachers and all that, and the manifesting people and the law of assumption and all that. They all say that vibration is a key factor of it and feeling good. So, being honest, this was the best thing I could do to make myself feel good. A lot of other things that I've been trying to make myself feel good lately aren't really working. It's like when you try to make yourself feel good, it almost feels like you're basically admitting you're not feeling good and you make yourself feel worse because you're trying to make yourself feel different. So that doesn't work. So that's why I was like, well, at least I know when I relax and watch those music videos, I do tend to feel a little better. It almost works like a tranquilizer, right? So that's what I did. I finished all of my anime series that like I was basically getting caught up on now. So I guess moving forward, I'll have to either find new anime series, go back, rewatch some of the old ones, and maybe also watch like some of my old movies and just try and relax that way. But I'll tell you, with all my goals being so big and ambitious, it's not that I'm lazy about them, but I really wouldn't have the power or the wisdom to do anything more than I already have. In fact, with as much as I do in a day as it is, and I always try to do more every day, but I feel drained lately. I feel exhausted and tired, and I really feel like I don't have much energy to do as much as I used to. Maybe it's the weather, maybe because it's so hot. I just, I feel fatigued, lazy, but and I guess when I sit there and I think about how hard I've tried to do things in the past, and I still am where I might not be 100% comfortable being, so to speak, I guess, that's what kind of makes it the hardest going through that situation. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to discuss. I will keep working on this album, A Point to Prove. That song, Boku mo Aishiteru Yo, please check it out. And also check out Hitomi Shimatani's song, Mystic World, if you haven't. It's great. Great music video. She still looks like she's 20 years old. Like, I watch her old music videos, like her early ones, her first ones, and then I watch that and I'm like, she hasn't aged a day. She's still just as beautiful and sweet as she ever was. She could be 100 years old, and I bet you she'd still look the same. But yeah. Anyways, that's all I really was gonna say. Oh, and also one more thing, I did forget about this, but I guess I'd also like to thank if Chihara Minoru was watching this too. I'd just like to give shout outs and thank her for always hearting my comments and being such a wonderful, good friend. I honestly consider you my best friend, Chihara-chan. Arigatou gozaimasu. Boku no tomodachi daisuki. So, yeah, and, aishiteru itsumo hitomi shimatani-chan. Zuto. So, yeah, if there is no other people who would like their fortune, especially because it's hot and we got through the gist of everything planned today, I think we're going to end the broadcast a little earlier because we started late, just so it times out about roughly the same. And we will be back tomorrow to finish that chapter of Awakened Imagination and the Search, another reading. So please check it out if you haven't so far commented for a fortune told. What do you have to lose? You might as well try it. It's free, right? So don't be shy. Don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go ahead. Comment that gender and that zodiac sign and what you'd like a reading about, general future, romance, or career. And I'll be sure to get it to you. Even after this broadcast concludes, if you catch this later, feel free to still comment in the video afterwards because I'll see that and then I will read yours first thing next episode. So, arigatou gozaimasu, minasan. O yasumi nasai. Mata ne.